Hi all! Welcome to another awesome episode of Cooking with Heather. We're not going to use a recipe today, and we're going to make homemade craft dinner. I can't eat the normal craft dinner because of food allergies, and I've mentioned my food allergies on different episodes, but a fan from an online game I played suggested that I try and make craft dinner, and I thought, alright, why not? So I got ingredients that I'm able to eat and still would make good craft dinner. Alright, so we are going to start by getting our noodles on the boil. We're going to fill up the Lagostina because I think that's the only way to make good craft dinner is that. I've got macaroni pasta here from Western Family because non-name brand food is cheaper than name brand food. That's something you might want to remember when you're doing your grocery shopping. You don't always have to get the brand name. You get what you can afford. And we'll get the second package out. I got 2 packages for the express purpose of this episode. And so it is that we're done with that. I'll just be taking the camera with me today to show you. We're going to fill this up. We're going to fill this up. You can hear my voice still, hopefully. We're going to shake this out a bit. And we're going to just shake the pasta so that all of it's covered. Alright, we're going to put this on. Put it on here so I can see it better. Alright, so we're going to put it on about 7 and hopefully that'll boil up soon. And we will definitely need another pot because we have to melt the cheese. The noodles cook. So I've got a block of lactose-free Paradise Island cheese, medium cheddar right here. It's one of the cheeses that I can actually eat without problems because honestly, if I eat regular cheese, I get very short of breath, and that's not altogether good. So we're going to use a full block. We're going to get that in a pot. And then we're going to put the pot on the stove. Just back here. And now the food's cooking. And there's really not a lot we can do at the moment until the noodles boil. But in the meantime, we're going to rinse off our hands because we've been handling pots. And we're going to soften that a little bit, and we're going to also get our chicken bacon. Yes, I got chicken bacon for this, and you'll see why a little later. And it's not the type of bacon that you fry because when I cook my own food, I mean, I don't mind it if other people fry food when they're like making it for me, but I don't cook fried food for myself. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it in for about 10 or so minutes. I use the microwave because it does a better job than I ever could of frying it. I mean, there are so many moving pieces to this episode that you won't... And the microwave's a bit messy, forgive that. So, we're gonna now prepare the other ingredients, and we need the big cutting board. I've got this giant, huge cutting board for the different ingredients we'll need. Actually going to keep that till later. We're going to need some chicken. And we're going to need one of my trusty knives. And you know what? For this, we're going to use a trusty Dutch knife that my mom and dad gave to me. They were my dad's before my mom and dad got remarried, or got married. My biological dad died in 2014 and my mom remarried in 2016. And the guy that I consider my father had these knives, and then I bought them some new ones off Amazon, so they gave these to me. And so we're just going to chop these up really nice. We're going to make chicken chunks. And you'll see why in a little bit. We're just going to use the smaller chicken breast. And we have to keep an eye on the cheese. You want to see how the cheese is doing? Let's check the cheese. See what this is doing? It's melting into the... We have to be careful not to put it above medium or put it too high, otherwise the cheese will burn. And the noodles are cooking, so we don't have to worry about those. And to be very frank, I've never done this before because I haven't had Kraft dinner since this allergy came back into my life. I think I had to drink soy milk as a kid, but the allergy went away, and so I used to be a messy eater when I was a teenager and a young adult, but then the allergy came back, so I had to make the best of what I had. So we'll just put that aside for now. And we've got goat cheese as well, but we'll be saving that. As for additional ingredients, y'all may not understand my logic, but we're also going to put some canned mushrooms and peas into this Kraft dinner. Canned mushrooms are really cheap, so use them if you can. Make sure they're thoroughly drained. And then put them in the bowl. Make sure you get all of the mushrooms out. And the can opener has decided it doesn't work. Actually, this is the right one. The can opener is being that. So it's a good thing I bought a spare from, you know, these are dollar store can openers, and the weather's been too cold for me to actually go get a better one. I prefer hand can openers because electric ones are really complicated. So it's lucky I've got one, a spare one, so I can do this video. Alright, and this can opener being a brass. You have to watch the cheese because it could get burned if you don't watch it carefully. You have to just be really careful. And we'll pour the peas in after they're drained carefully. And we'll put the chicken into this mixture as well, because we're going to have a very flavorful Kraft dinner. Oh, it's burning a bit. Eek. Alright, so as you can see, we've melted the cheese as much as we can in the pot. So we're going to take it out. And put the rest in a bowl. We're going to use our oven mitts for this, because we have them and we don't want to burn our hands. Oh. Stop. Have to hold it it's like still boiling, so we have to hold it over the sink for a few minutes so it'll cool down. I mean, we managed to partially melt the cheese. Which was good. We managed to partially melt the cheese, which is great. But now we're going to scrape, and this is a very, very tedious process. We're going to scrape. Some of it did get stuck to the bottom of the pan, unfortunately, so we're just going to scrape it. And we're just going to stick it in there, and we're going to pull out. That doesn't always work, but this is a learning opportunity. But you know, I did foresee this complication. So what we're going to do is pull out a whole new set of cheese and add it to what's already here, because I think what's already here can work. And so we're going to do that. It's going to take a bit. A lot of this is done via the microwave simply because I don't have the patience for much. And there's the bacon all nice and done. I'm going to put this in. We're going to wait for that to cool a little bit. Because that doesn't always work, you know that? I mean, that's fine, you know that? It really is. Melting it on the stove doesn't always work. And that's why God invented microwaves. The noodles are coming along nice. We just need to turn them down a bit. All right. Alright, so the noodles are done. Let's get them out. And you're wondering why I have this thing of crab. Well, that'll come into play later. What we're going to do right now is... Alright. What we're going to do right now is drain the noodles with this trusty drainer that I bought like a while ago. Alright, and you know what? This is a learning experience for all of us. Because I've never done this. So, we're just going to take it one step at a time. And to be fair, honestly, it did actually turn out. The noodles did turn out. And we have to scrape out, we'll use a different spoon to scrape out the noodles. We don't even have to scrape them, we can just loosen them up a bit. Oh. Oh. Alright. Leave them in there for a minute. And then, after they've drained for a minute, dump them back in. Oh. Dump them back on the stove. Put them on the front pan this time. Oh my goodness. Some did spill, but we'll clean that up after. We'll sweep it into a broom and clean it up after the episode's done. And we'll just keep our kitchen tidy. Or keep my kitchen tidy. Because cleanup comes after you're all done. So I don't want to interrupt the episode by cleaning up. So check the cheese. It's almost ready. Okay, so we'll scrape what fell into the sink. Because the sink is clean. I cleaned it before the episode. We don't want waste. The strainer can get out of here now. We don't want too much waste where it can be avoided. So what we're going to do, I have to do this by hand because it's obviously not working with a spoon. We're going to take the noodles and grab them by hand. It's going to burn your hands, so be careful. You may still miss a few, but this is better than a spoon. We're going to return them to the pot. And you just heard the microwave go off. We're going to leave that for a minute. I mean, the noodles are all nice and moist and we want to save as many as we can. I washed the sink thoroughly before I did this. And the counters and everything, so this is not disgusting. Alright. This is all about chemical experiment, basically. Macaroni and cheese is like this giant chemical experiment in which, and the rest I'll just have to say goodbye to, because we can't be doing this the whole time. I saved quite a few, so it's like a giant chemical experiment in which we bring different chemical components together. See, look at this cheese sauce. A little time in the oven, a little time in the microwave makes for an excellent looking sauce. Okay, now you're going to want to see this. So, we're going to dump the sauce in there. We're going to want to turn the heat on low. And then we're going to want to stir it. Actually, we'll leave it for a minute, because we have other things to do, like straighten up the workstation for a minute, and we'll get a different knife. Got so many. We'll get a different knife. Actually, no, we can just wash this because it's right here. And we need the knife to cut up the bacon. We'll leave it on the plate just to bacon's a bit warm to the touch, so be careful. You might want to put on an oven mitt for this so you don't burn your fingers, because this can get quite difficult. You want to chop the bacon up. It doesn't have to be uniform pieces. It really doesn't. It just has to be pieces. Just has to be decent pieces. They're not as small as I would like, but you know, to do that, I burn my fingers, so. And you know what, to loosen it up a bit, because it's not loose. It's not as loose as I would like. We're going to put in some vanilla almond milk. Want to watch? Soften up the mixture a bit. And yeah, that should be enough. Let's look at the stirring. And you know what? We're also going to drop in a dollop of goat cheese. And we're going to let it boil for a bit. And goat cheese is extraordinarily expensive, so we're going to put it in a bag, seal it up, and then just leave it in the fridge. And I was going to use crab, but that's just not happening today. I think there's enough with the chicken. We don't need to have crab, so I'm going to put that away. Just going to clean up a little bit while we wait for that to boil. What you do, I mean, this is a point where I really hate hand stirring. You see, it'll all come together. And now we're gonna add the bacon. Make sure all of it gets off the plate because we're not into wasting. This is such a big sample for me. I may have underestimated how much cheese we'll actually need. We'll need a lot. So we'll just pull this half-eaten cheese thing, half-used cheese thing out of the... And you know what? I think we're gonna need it. And we'll add these ingredients in the meantime. And we'll heat. We'll just give this cheese bowl a little wash. We'll pop this in for 5 minutes. While we're waiting, we can clean up a bit. I was gonna put butter in it, but honestly, I think the milk does better. And you know, food supplies are limited. Like, it's cold, so it's not like I can go get more if I run out of this. So we're doing quite well. Want to see the mixture? It'll look great when it's done. There's some bacon, there's some peas, there's some mushrooms, there's some pasta, and there's goat cheese. And this crazy microwave is very temperamental. So we have to keep an eye on it. In the meantime, what we're going to do is grate some cucumber for a bit of zest. I wanted some lime, but I didn't think about it, so I don't have any. That's probably enough. We're gonna dump it in the pot and mix it in. If you're wanting to get scrapings off of a cutting board, use a knife. And this cucumber has gone bad very quickly, and I don't know why. So it goes in the garbage. We have to check on the cheese. Well, that's about as melted as the cheese is going to get. Alright, see how it looks? That's microwaved cheese. Would you like to see it? It's mixed again. There we go. Yeah, it's done. Let's get it on a plate then. It's all done. It's done. Yay. All right. Just for we're going to add a few dashes of the lemon pepper just to give it a spice. But not too much because lemon pepper is a very strong spice. And I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, like a strong dose of it, because it can get spicy, but if you use it in small doses at a time, it should be alright. We're just going to clean up after ourselves a little bit. Give the counter a wipe. And get out a nice bowl for the mac and cheese. This nice bowl ought to do it. Ready? I personally don't have tons of cooking tools. I mean, Ben's have said, what's your address? I want to send you a cooking tool, but I haven't seen any tools yet, so I have to use these. And I don't want any comments in the video about how I'm getting the pasta out. I don't want to dump it all over the counter. I mean, my gosh, this looks amazing. Alright. I've gotten a small amount out and I'm going to taste it now. So, craft dinner time. It's going to be a little hot. Mmm. Mmm. Oh my gosh. Mmm. Oh. Mmm. It turned out really nice. Mmm. Mmm. Oh my gosh. Wow. Now keep in mind, I have never done this before, like made craft dinner. This was a total experiment. Mmm. Mmm. Holy fat. Look at that. That's some epic looking craft dinner, isn't it? Mac and cheese, I guess. And this is the pot of it. All right. That's a wrap for this episode of Cooking with Heather. Mac and cheese with special fixings.